Oh, we've got further attendees, so we won't rush. Thank you all very much indeed for coming to the breakout session, joining me here. Grateful not to be talking to a row of empty seats, that's a relief. I'd like to ask you just to bring your mind a little bit down from the skies to a very small business here in Central Haywards Heath, which is my business, the Muse Vets. As a vet, I often attend veterinary conferences in which you can see the goal is for me to learn something of benefit to my patients to make sure I'm staying completely up to date. It's not the norm for me to be giving the presentation or to be dolled up like this. So I feel a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I have just brought a couple of patients. Let me see if this, I'll tell you what, it might work if I switch that on. Practice this earlier. Go, Henry. Uh-oh. We might be at the end of the presentation because that's also the last slide. Should we give that a whirl? So I hope if I get a bit tongue-tied that you'll be kind and buoy me up with some support and kindness. Are we on?
Yeah.
Well, we've got Henry, there he is. So Henry's come to help me, and in fact there's a Harvey in the audience as well who has joined us, so I'm feeling a lot more comfortable already. Recently I did attend just such a veterinary conference, and I was particularly excited that the keynote speaker on that day was Dame Jane Goodall, who is one of my childhood heroes. I'm having a little trouble with the technology here, but I imagine Steve will sort me out in a moment. Those of you that are my age group will remember Jane Goodall. She's the wonderful naturalist who observed chimpanzees in the wild. She's an eco-warrior. She's in her 80s now. And like me, she knew that she'd always begin a talk with a joke. But like me, she claimed to be a little bit a serious person, not given to humour. But she did share this little story. There was once an elderly spinster who lived alone with a little black cat. And she decided to have a clear out. And she found among all the things that were not needed anymore, a bronze lamp. So she thought it needs a bit of a polish before I take it down the charity shop. So she's given it a right good polish up. And of course, what happens is, poof, out comes a genie. She said poof. I would have said kabam, but she said poof. So we're going to go with her story. And the genie says, thank you so much for releasing me from the lamp. I've been stuck in there for centuries. As a reward, may I give you 3 wishes? And you remember though, the rules are always in fairy tales. You must think very carefully about what you choose because I can't take it back once I've given it to you. So the little elderly spinster thinks rather carefully, and she says, that first wish is easy. Could you make me young and beautiful? And the genie says, oh, no problem at all. Poof, there she is. She's just fabulous, just beautiful, a princess. So the genie says, second wish? And she says, well, actually, you know, I've already experienced life once, so I understand the importance of money. Could you make me wealthy, fabulously wealthy, so I never have to worry about anything again? And he says, you know what, that's actually really easy. And he goes, poof, and she's transported to the beautiful room in a huge palace, piles of gold and silver and diamonds all around her. She's set for life, no problems. He says, now remember, the genie reminds us, this is your last wish, don't go wrong. So she looks at her little black cat still in her arms and says, this little fella's been my companion now for years. It'd be fantastic if he could be my companion in reality. Could you make him into a gorgeous prince for me? And the genie says, yep, no problem at all. Poof! And there he is. A fabulous example of prime manhood. He's tall, he's dark, he's got fabulous green eyes. He's a rugby Welsh player, clearly. And she's just gobsmacked. Jaw hits the ground. And before she can say anything, he turns to her and says, now, I bet you wish you hadn't taken me down the vets and got me neutered. That was her story. Still having a little trouble. Oh, switched itself off. Okay, we might be out of battery here. Okay, it's on at the moment. Let's see if that will go for me. Maybe I'll just press a button here, maybe an enter. Yep, there we go. Okay. Can I just point out that I am a veterinary surgeon, in case that hadn't become clear. I've been mad about animals since I was tiny. I'm not a business consultant, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a marketing advisor. Any good ideas I share with you today I have shamelessly stolen, and nothing I'm going to talk to you about today is original. That's not the point of today's case study. What I would like to share with you is that sometimes change can be good, and that it is possible. So I'm a veterinary surgeon, as I've said. I've got 25 years experience. That's a bit of a scary thought. And I've spent my entire working career here in mid-Sussex. First 7 years of my life I was a horse and small animal vet, and now I concentrate 100% on small animal, in other words what we call pet vet. That's me. Nearly 20 years I've been running my own veterinary practice with my wonderful team, the Muse Vets, here in central Haywards Heath. I specialise in trying to be an outstanding GP vet for all the pets of mid-Sussex. I think of myself as having the same role as your GP doctor, but I have the freedom to be a whole lot better because I'm not constrained by the rules of working for the NHS. I'm the first person you'd come to for any kind of information or help with a pet. What shall I try? Shall I try this again? I think we might have a battery issue, so I'll just do that. That's Teddy. Teddy holds the world record for the number of grass horns I've ever removed from a dog. It's quite outstanding. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Today we're at the HHDBA Conference 2015, and it's time for a change. And my case study, don't press that one, that will work better. How stopping working in my business and starting working on it paid off. I'm going to do an awful lot of moving backwards and forwards now, aren't I? There's Smokey's, just checking you're sitting comfortably. I'm told the right way to give a demonstration is to tell you what I'm going to say, then say it, and then remind you what I said. Well, I think that's a bit boring, so we'll just move on. So where was I, and where is this story coming from? Oh, I might not have shown you that straight away, never mind. As I said, I've been a medical professional for a quarter of a century, and I started to recognise a while back when I was still an employed vet that many of my clients preferred to always see me, and they were travelling quite a distance to come to see me when I was working in Burgess Hill. And they were also, and myself, I had a need to have longer consultation times. So in 1996, I decided to start my own clinic, and I acquired a 5-bedroom property here in central Haywards Heath, got the planning permission, and converted it into a veterinary clinic. I was quite a well-known figure, having already spent 7 years in Burgess Hill, and it took off tremendously well. And the 15-minute appointments, where the norm is 10 minutes, have been a really big hit. We're now, I think, a really well-established part of the community, and the families of over 20,000 pets have trusted us with the care of those pets. I get compliments every day from clients who tell me that their dogs literally drag them into the clinic. They're so keen to see me. And that's because of the fuss they get from their face, my team. I would say that I'm a very honest, compassionate and skillful person, I believe. I'm generally good at helping sick animals, injured animals, and at preventing illness. And I've surrounded myself with a group of like-minded professionals, you saw a photo of them earlier, who are also very knowledgeable and caring. But back in 2013, we were losing money. And that's where we're going to start from. Now I know I'm not a business person, and honestly, I'm proud of it. Most veterinary professionals feel the same way. Our job is to care for patients, not to make money. Another of my childhood role models was James Herriot. My attitude to money has always been a bit like Siegfried Farnham's. I don't know if some of you can remember that wonderful British drama. In the days when a whole family would get together and sit down together in front of the TV and watch one programme. Wonderful television. And Siegfried was the sort of person, whenever he earned any money, he stuffed his pound notes into a tankard on the mantelpiece. And when he wanted to go down the pub, he just pulled a few out and headed off to the pub. So following a business plan and having a budget, not really part of my natural remit. Also, I'm working in a profession which is incredibly conservative and traditional. We've always done things a certain way. Why should we need to change anything? It's worked before. We don't need change. Bear in mind, I'm a veterinary surgeon. I have no training in business management, no training in human resources, no specialist communication skills. I haven't learned about leadership at vet school. I don't know any marketing, even how to take photographs, writing a press release, doing social media. Hell, I couldn't do an email before I joined a charity about 5 years ago. I had to learn how to do email. This is me. I've got some skills, I've also got some weaknesses. So here we are, my story starts now in January 2013, and the economy was in recession, you'll remember. There were new veterinary practices opening up here in mid-Sussex, and we were getting competition from the internet. Just before the bust, there had been a big boom, and there were cheap holidays and flights readily available. I don't know if you can remember, can you put your heads back to that place? Many of my former customers were giving up a Sussex-based pet-owning lifestyle and were moving to having a much more free, jet-setting, let's pop to Prague for the weekend kind of lifestyle. So pet ownership nationally was dropping. I could see that I had a problem, but I had no idea what to do or how to change it. We can't, as veterinary surgeons, go out onto a pavement and drag customers in. Maybe none of you can. So as a vet, I'm quite used to crises. I'm quite used to making changes. Oh, I didn't touch anything then. Hey, what's that?
It works again.
Yeah, it's working. So the former X-ray, I wonder if I can go back, because I think I can. There we go. Yes. So this X-ray is of a 13-year-old puppy dog who took a fall and can't use the back leg. The fracture is here. I'm competent to recognise that fracture, to diagnose the problem, and to repair it when it works. Maybe not competent to run this piece of equipment though. And this little person, literally 13-week-old Staffy, is running around on this leg within 3 days. So crisis, I can do that. I can even cope when my machine decides to go back to the start of my talk. We can do this. As another example, I'm perfectly able, for instance, during pregnancy and during labour, to recognise when things are going well, or in fact to diagnose when there is a problem, and to anaesthetise 5 people simultaneously, perform a caesarean section, produce 4 beautiful pedigree kittens. I'm sorry, the quality may not be fabulous, but it was late at night, and to help them to bond with their mother and survive what could have been a fatal experience. So I know all of this, but I didn't know how to turn around an ailing business. How I knew things had to change. Here's Gutsy. Gutsy acquired his name when his guts literally fell out. He had an evisceration, no really, experience, and a quick-thinking colleague managed to save him. He now lives very happily. This is my problem. I did say I'm not an accountant. It's very simple. There is a red line